What's up, y'all? It's episode 30 of this weekly review. Thank you for tuning in and stay tuned. What up, y'all? Happy Thursday. It's your boy DJ Jesse J, and you already know we got Courtney Stewart in the building. Hey, Bo.
Hello, everybody.
And normally we over here, we'll have some wine or shenanigans, but it's LA weather's playing, so we got our tea because we're gonna talk about some tea as well. As you can see, who we got up on the picture behind me. There was a lot of things, a lot of allegations, a lot of interesting stories happening, and I low key am excited to talk about Real Housewives of New Jersey a little later and Girls Trip, but Jersey finally got interesting. So
I think that's funny. Interesting. We'll get to it.
well, maybe I just have some good questions to ask you that will
Nope.
make it interesting. And if you guys are in the comments, please join the conversation down below. All right, so let's just start with some of the things we got going on. Now, first of all, excuse our voices. Again, I'm running off like 3 hours of sleep because I just got in from Boston this morning and to rain. It was beautiful weather in Boston, and then I get here and it's like hailing outside. I'm like, excuse me. And Courtney
That's,
got the sniffles over there. All the
you have
things.
sniffles, but we're not claiming it.
No,
It's
we're
going to
not.
be
It's just
treated.
allergies. That's what we're gonna say. It was just a quick little 24 allergy gonna be gone in the morning.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what we gonna claim that in the Lord's name.
It better
Um,
be herbs I'm taking.
okay. All right. So let's just jump into it real quick. Shout out to Beyonce. She left Adidas. Daryl will be with us next week. Y'all know he was out in New York doing the thing on NBC and giving all the tea, all the drama, and all the celebrity wealth. So shout out to Daryl, and he'll be back with us next week. And hopefully we get, if you guys are after buzzers, Grant Rudder. He'll be joining us from Grant's Rants, and he'll be
Yes.
updating us on the Gwyneth Paltrow stuff. I wanted to talk about it this week, but I just know he's gonna have some hot takes. So he, it was a little
Yeah.
last minute, so he
We
gonna
got
come
the
out.
verdict.
Okay, so but we're gonna keep that tea for next week and all that jazz. So. But Beyonce, shout out to her. She left Adidas. Daryl had left that story with us a few weeks ago about how, the finances wasn't really financing for either of them. So they ended up parting ways. And in true Virgo form, she popped out with Balmain. Ow. Ooh, what's that face? You,
Yeah,
you,
keep going.
you
I'm
wasn't
listening.
you wasn't feeling the Balmain outfit?
Uh,
I mean,
huh?
I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. Look, I love that she did it because I do like the Ivy Park stuff. I'm not gonna lie. Some of the pieces were cute. The Balmain thing, I mean, it's just like a flex. It's like, all right, tie yourself to Balmain, Tiffany's, all these heavy hitter names. You know, for me, I looked at it like Beyonce. We always talk about how Beyonce is one of the greatest performers in history. But Rihanna's more the fashion girl. And,
Facts.
the Balmain ad, it gave very much Alien Superstar. I hope she's not going to be wearing these tight dresses and things at Renaissance. I hope we're going to get some dancing and not like performances. I don't need no drag performances, girl. So
Giving Mariah Carey, like I just hold my mic and have people move my body around.
I really hope it's not that. I hope it ain't given that. But I don't believe it's going to. So, but also on the flip side of that, apparently H&M is doing a line with Mugler. Now sometimes the H&M has dropped in the past little collections with designers and whatnot. Right now they have the Keith Haring line, which is real cute. And I saw some of the designs from the Mugler stuff. It looked cool. I don't know. I'd have to see the pieces in person to know like if I would pick anything up. But yeah, we're getting this high fashion at a reasonable price, I guess.
I
There we go.
guess.
I
I
guess. But
guess.
on a
Yeah.
bit,
I'm in my sorry, I'm in my like sustainable fashion mode. So because we're killing the planet. So I mean, I'm glad they're doing these things, I guess. But yeah,
hey,
yeah.
I love my pieces. But shout out to H&M because, to be honest with y'all, the way my thighs be fluctuating, H&M the only place I can get jeans that be doing it for me. So
They be
shout out to H&M. But shout out to Taylor Swift. I mean, I know a lot of people ain't into her, but I am. I like Taylor Swift's music. I'm not gonna lie. If you in LA and trying to go to the concert, let me know because I don't want to go by myself. But I would go if someone pulled me by the hand. But shout out to her because I didn't even know this. My dad came out and was like, did you hear about Taylor Swift? But all 7 of her albums are charting on the Billboard chart right
Yeah.
now, and which
Yeah.
has only been done by one other person, and that person is the Whitney Houston. Back in 2012, all of her albums charted at the same time. So shout out to Taylor Swift for that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Because she's doing them concerts, playing and singing all them songs for 5 hours. So
Okay.
it makes sense, child. It makes sense. Do you, bro?
All right, so I wanted to start off real positive, right? All right, now let's get into some drama and some tea. So Courtney sent me this article. Now, I mean, I haven't talked about Marcus Houston in years. I mean, I liked his music. I had his album. But this tea, I was like, woo, Twitter was twittering because this picture of him and his wife Maya, I'm assuming that's how you pronounce her name, popped up with their ages underneath, and Twitter was like, well, hold on, if she's this age and he was this age, and then they was doing math and they started doing research and they found someone with the same exact name as her, who went missing at like around the age of 15, 16, and no one could find her. And then all of a sudden this girl pops up around 18 marrying Marcus Houston. And so people were saying allegedly it's the same girl, and they was trying to do the math and saying, well, if she was 18 when they got married, then that means how old was she when, and was she missing because of, and is this that same girl? And now we know the allegations of the past of Marcus Houston with what was his name, Chris Stokes, and all that drama. So it's just like, whoa, you know what I mean? Like, that was just something I just wanted to talk about because I'm just like, it's a real article to go down. It's a deep hole, and Twitter, like I said, you just can always count on Twitter to make things interesting.
That is
But yeah, other than that, I ain't got real no hot take on that. I just thought it was something, and after the show, you can go back and Google it and go down that rabbit hole yourself.
yeah.
The other tea this week was the Jonathan Majors. I mean, I guess this was more kind of last week, but the allegations of Jonathan Majors, and we kind of talked about it last week a little bit. His lawyer came out to say he's innocent, and that the charges will be dropped. But Twitter really took a big take to this. I saw a lot of people on both sides of the fences. People were talking about maybe steroid use. People were talking about how white women date black men, and then at the littlest thing, blame the black man. I saw articles about when are white women going to stop stealing black men. And then it was arguments of, well, let's not put all the blame there and let's blame the black men that keep going after the white women. It was just all over the place. I just think it's always just interesting when a movie comes out and the article, I guess it's more interesting because me and Courtney just saw Creed 3 2 weekends ago.
Yeah.
And we had a great conversation after the movie about the movie and how it was great to see black men share this story and have this moment on camera. But I thought, Courtney, your take was really interesting. I don't know if you want to share how you would have liked Creed to have ended.
Okay. Did we not have this conversation?
Did we? I know we had it in person. Did we have this conversation in the end last week? Last week.
I couldn't even really remember.
Look, I talk to Courtney almost every other day, so I don't be knowing what the hell we be talking about on here versus in real life.
Yeah.
But give a brief synopsis, yeah.
I don't remember what I actually was thinking about Creed, and like, because my brain about Creed is completely muddled and ruined.
Well, you wish Jonathan's character won.
Or had won. Okay, I do remember that. But like, it's so funny because like now I so don't care after the situation that is going on. And I would be remiss if I don't actually comment on that and just say, whoever your lawyer is, Jonathan, I don't know what they're trying to do, but releasing them text messages today was a real bad idea, sir.
Oh, wait, I didn't see that. What happened?
Oh, how you missed? Oh, yes, honey. The lawyer done released the text messages that are supposedly like saying, because she had been saying like, oh, there's text messages that will come out and prove that he is innocent. And then there's a video that will show and exonerate him, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they released the text messages. Hold on, I'm gonna try to pull them up right now.
No, girl, I'm already a step ahead.
It was just bananas. Yeah. So, child, this is so little. The one that I found. Basically, the text messages don't make him look good. They make it look bad. They make it look like something definitely happened and he was the culprit, and that she feels bad now that he got in trouble. And she literally sounds like an abuse victim, like trying to come back and be like, oh, I'm sorry. I told them it was my fault. I tried to take your phone. Blah, blah, blah.
It says that she said that I'll make sure nothing happens about this. And she knows he has the best team and there's nothing to worry about. I just want you to know that I'm doing all I can on my end. The unverified text messages read, because allegedly. I also said to tell the judge to know that the origin of the call was to do with me collapsing and passing out and your worry as my partner due to our communication prior out of care. Okay, well, yeah.
So, girl, why you passed out? You trying to make it sound like literally that sounds like y'all got into a scuffle about the phone. He did choke you out. You passed out. He was worried because you passed out. So allegedly he called the police. And by the time they got there, you was awake, but there was markings on your body to look like there was a physical incident. So they had to they sent you to the hospital and took him to jail. I know it's all alleged, but regardless, Jonathan, whoever your attorney is, that did not make him look good. It did not at all. Like, it didn't help. I don't know. I haven't seen
Heather Gay and Jen Shaw.
Exactly. Like, and nobody's take has been, oh, that makes sense. He totally didn't do anything. So it's a disappointing situation and a mess. I don't know what happened. I still have about a millimeter of hope that he did not put his hands on that girl, but everything is looking like he put his hands on that girl.
I'm going to tell y'all like this, Hollywood is a real thing. It's a game. There's a lot of pressure. And as someone who was in a relationship with somebody who did steroids, and I'm not saying Jonathan does, I just am seeing allegations and rumors, and his body was looking mighty fine. And trust me, that is a hard thing to achieve in a short amount of time. But it can control your temper. You can't control your temper when you are on things like that. And, for me personally, I was in a situation where that person did it and took things out of, they would have to be so sweet. And then the next minute it would be next level. And police were called by other people. I did cover up because I didn't want the drama. I didn't want to have to carry things on, and you do get into a victim mindset. So that's this, like you said, this story is sounding, and the text messages are now seem like that's could be the case. But it's just not good. It's not good at all. So we are sending our thoughts and prayers to everyone involved because
To everyone involved,
you know
child.
what I mean? And maybe just take a step back for just a little bit and take the pressure off of yourself in Hollywood and, take a little step out of the limelight right now.
What's crazy is literally his next movie that's supposed to come out. He's playing a bodybuilder.
Ooh. Oh. I'm telling you guys, there's a lot of pressure, and some people be saying certain things aren't steroids that people are taking, and it's like,
No, they
just,
are. They're like
just
human growth hormones and all
right,
kinds of wild stuff.
right. Like, what's that boxer? And he talking about he eats too many eggs, so that's why he tested positive for that. Like, please stop. Please stop.
It's like, no, we're HGHing. Nonetheless, I know this doesn't matter because someone could be hurt and somebody could be in jail and all this, but by damn it, I am not pleased that my little fantasy is now over.
Because, baby, that was your fantasy.
Fantasizing. Mr. Jonathan Majors was fine as hell, and this is such a disappointment. I'm not surprised, which is also sad, but it is still hell of a disappointment.
And you know what? That's why my little Michael B. Jordan, you just keep on being that nerd that everyone thinks you are, and hopefully we never get anything negative like this.
We thought Jonathan was a little geeky dude and a little not whatever, and then this done come out. So we still don't know why Michael beat and broke up with what's the name. So who knows?
Well, and that's interesting you bring that because that's what I want to talk about next. Because what does love have to do with it, right? It's just so interesting to me that I'm just gonna put this out there. I love a good TikTok rabbit hole. Lori started dating Michael around the time he started focusing on his directorial debut, and they really carried the story in the media of Michael focusing on Creed 3 during that time and how he was the all-around guy. He had this girlfriend, and everything just seemed so great. And their breakup happened right as Creed 3 was coming out, as the promotions and all that stuff. And so, my antenna was like, oh, it's giving Hollywood. Now, in Hollywood, sometimes an agent will call another agent and say, hey, I represent this person. Maybe they should be seen in public together. Why don't we set them up on a few dates? Why don't we set them up on a vacation together? And, let's just let the world put together who they are. And why I say that and why I'm starting to question if all that relationship was really just to build this persona, which is crazy to me because I feel like Michael always had that persona, but we really never saw him with a girl. Like, we never saw him with, like, oh, whoa.
Yeah. Well, word on the curb, again, allegedly, is that he had a problem with Black women because he's only dealing with white women. And so Lori was supposed to solve that.
Well, and then what would you know? Who does Lori date next? Well, Snowfall's coming out, the last final season of Snowfall. And the other person who in my mind is of equivalence to Michael B. Jordan is DAMSON IDRIS.
DAMSON IDRIS.
Love him. And so they had a quick little thing apparently, or they was just talking, they was flirting, doing the thing. Also, as the last final Snowfall season was coming, he was in that Swarm show on Amazon Prime, you know what I'm saying? So it was just perfect just to get in the blogs, get the name going, a little drawn, you know what I'm saying? So I'm telling you, this happens in Hollywood. I've heard it with a very famous person along with Justin Bieber, and I won't name the girl, but she said no to it. So just know that sometimes what we think is the perfect situation ain't really it. And it's all a marketing ploy. But speaking of, did you finish Swarm yet?
I sure did.
Girl, how many times did you just be like, what the did I watch?
I just was like, we're messed up. And that was deep.
It was very deep. Okay, so if you ain't watched Swarm yet, sorry, you've had 2 weeks at this point. So it's basically about the fandom of, you see, like, let's just put it out because they put it in the show. The Barbs, the Beehive, who else did they have in there? The Swifties, just these fan bases that, we hear and see a lot, who go up for these people as if they are gods, as if they are the person that they are living for. And that might sound crazy too, because you're sitting at home, you're like, well, I just play my Beyonce song, just like I do. I just like to play my Beyonce. You know what I mean?
Like
I'm cleaning. I wanna shake my little self, or you know what I'm saying, break my soul, whatever the case is. Drop down low and sweep the floor with it, whatever the case is, right? But then there are people who it just gives you, there's lost souls out here. And again, shout out to Black China, because I feel like in these times, and I don't want to call her Black China anymore. Shout out to Angela.
Angela.
Because I feel like in these times we can get so lost. And a lot of the times, I'm reading this book. It's called How to Win Friends and Influence People. And it is so dope. If you have not, I'm not finished with it, but I'm like halfway through. If you have not read this, I totally recommend it. It's called How to Win Friends and Influence People. And how amazing it is first of all, I just saw a TikTok about a guy talking about it. And so I was like, that sounds interesting. Let me go get it. I got the book. I went to Barnes & Nobles, got it. Went to the front desk, and I handed it to the woman, and the woman put it to her chest. And she said, I'm so excited for you. And I was like, whoa, why? She said her son, was like a D student in high school. He was just graduating. And she said, I was really nervous about what he was going to do with his life. He was just really focused in music, didn't care about anything other than going to like rock concerts, all that stuff. And she said he read this book. She said he would always lock himself in the room. He read this book, and 4 to 5 months later, moved to New York, started working for a company, invested that money into his own company. And she's like, and she literally changed his entire life around. She said it gave him purpose. And I think watching Swarm kind of reminded me of that story that woman said, because it was like, I feel like there's so many times people just are the book talks about people are motivated by two things: the desire for sex and the desire to feel purpose in life. And I feel like Swarm, watching that, I feel like we have a lot of people who are depressed, and they pour themselves into constantly scrolling online, looking at other people's lives, wishing they had certain materialistic things, versus being happy within themselves and doing the work to get themselves to a better platform or place in life. And, I'm on my healing journey. I had my dog die 2 August ago. Then last August, I seen that man die. And I was already going through some depression. And those two things just like took me for a whirlwind. And there were definitely times where, for me, I did put my placement in sexual desire, more so, TMI, but like porn, like, and how addicting that world can be. And so if the opposite of that is to put it into these celebrities, this dream, the end of Swarm was just like, the end was the most worrisome part for me, because the person that this girl was doing all these things for, you would have thought like this was a dream, this was crazy, but the girl just took her in. The woman just took her in, and like on a deep spiritual level, it had me shook, like, oh my God, like, I rebuke in the name of Jesus. I don't know, that was real deep, sorry y'all, but that was just where my head was at. Also, Snowfall in its final season, they're talking about that there's going to be a spinoff from that, which I'm excited for, or interested to see where they'll go with it. Obviously, we have the finale coming up soon, so maybe that will kind of give us a lead. But I don't know. I'm excited for that. But my other favorite show on right now that just started is Succession. I don't know if you guys watch this. Do you watch Succession?
Of course, I haven't started this new season, but yeah, I need a few more episodes before I
Yeah, that was my
dive.
thing. I tried to like hold off and then I caved in and watched it the first episode. I liked with Succession, I need like 3 episodes to go by so I can like get on the ride. Um and this is its final season. If you haven't watched it, I totally recommend you going back and watching the show. It's not something I would have ever thought I would be interested in, but the story is just so good. I feel like I know people that are like this and families that are like this. And then just working in the entertainment space, just how people of a certain stature are and think. So I totally recommend it. Now, funny we're talking about spinoff because I'm wondering the way this season is going, because the way last season ended, it's all about this big deal. I'm wondering if this season is going to launch into maybe a spinoff. And I wonder if the spinoff will be a female lead because I feel like they're building someone up. But if you have not watched it yet, go back and watch it. Go back and watch Swarm, and definitely go back and watch Snowfall because, oof.
Well, speaking of spinoffs, they've released that they're working on a spinoff for Snowfall.
No, yeah, that's what I was saying. And what's
I
her
thought
name?
you were setting up Secession for a spinoff.
Oh no, I'm hoping Succession's coming with this spinoff, but Snowfall they are gonna release a actual spinoff. So shout out to that. Also spinoff. Shout out to Summer House is going to Cape Cod. Okay, welcome home. They're gonna be on Martha's Vineyard, which interesting. For me, I'm not really a Martha's Vineyard kind of guy. I'm not or Nantucket like. I like the mainland, sorry. But Martha's Vineyard's popping in the summertime, so we'll see. I never watched Summer House. Courtney watches Summer House, but
No, and I like that they're choosing Martha's Vineyard because of its, Black community and the significance of that community
and
for
the
the
whole
Black.
cast is black.
And the whole cast is Black, which actually that's why I didn't watch Summer House when it came out because I was like, y'all, I love my white folks and I love my white friends and all of that, but in the beginning, Summer House was really white, and I was like, this is a little too just. It felt very like the frat house-ness of it all. I went to a PWI. It was giving very much that. And I was like, I need a little bit of a sprinkle of something. And a few seasons in, it got a little more interesting. So I think I chimed in around season 4, 5,
They
maybe.
got that many seasons. Okay.
Yeah, it's like 7 seasons. And I was like, because I literally had to go back so that I was kind of understanding the relationships.
So wait, where is this Summer House? Where is that Summer House take place?
They're in the Hamptons every time.
Okay, yeah, and so honestly, Cape Cod is very Hamptons, like
Yeah.
in the sense of that. But the Martha's Vineyard is the place for upper echelon black folks. So
Show. So I think it's a great comparison and it was a brilliant idea. So I hope they do well. And yeah, because this season of Summer House is kind of boring. Sorry, guys.
Well, they dropped the promo for it, so we'll see how the actual show turns out. All right, what else do we got? Okay, so I also went back because Courtney was like, "Have you watched Queen's Court?" And I watched the first episode, and I was like, "No, not for me." But then I was back home, and I was like, "I'm not gonna lie, I watched it. I went back, and it's just a hot mystery."
Did you finish it?
No, I still have 3 more episodes to finish it.
Me, because I didn't finish it. I gave up. But yes.
No, and that's the thing. I think it was because I'm home. I have no real interest to finish it. But I think because I was home, I was watching it. And it's just because for me, I don't believe. I think we talked about this again. Can't remember what I talked to Courtney about on or off camera. I believe Nivea is the only one that is like actually excited to meet these. I feel like Evelyn's horrified by everything, and and Tamar as well. Just like who y'all got on this damn show, but Tamar.
But on social media, isn't Tamar the only one that ended up still dating the dude from the show?
Girl, I don't know because I didn't finish it, nor am I following Tamar Brack.
Well, I just know that she was like in the whole like drama that she was online. The JR, the white guy, was the guy who confronted Todd supposedly about what was going on with him and Candy, with her and
Oh,
Candy.
well,
So
interesting because that's the only one I could have seen her with, for real, for real. The other ones were giving
I
very
mean,
much.
really though, like,
I mean, no,
have,
not for again. I don't believe Evelyn and Tamar were going on a show to look for love.
fair
These
enough.
are celebrity women who have been in horrible past relationships. Like, you go to like a real matchmaker, not Holly Davidson Pete, like, or like a reality show that's looking to bring in like I Love New York. Like, sorry, this should have been the Olivia Love Fest, and I would have been here for it. But like, to be honest, like I just feel like those two. Although I do love Evelyn, and I like seeing Evelyn back on TV. For me, um,
Yeah.
it's giving me like Giselle on Real Girls Trip. Like, I like her in this light versus Basketball Wives. Like, I wish she was just a friend that like was like coaching Nivea through her dates versus like
Mm.
actually being lined up with these men. Because, girl, not you guys found Lenny Kravitz's stepbrother. And he looked so confused when they were like, "You are not our king." And also them like calling people king on this. I'm like,
It's so annoying.
what
Like,
do
it's
these
just,
guys do on the show? What do these
you
guys really do in
know,
real life? Like,
and honestly, when they first announced like this was going to be a thing, because I remember them talking about it, I was like, oh, Holly Robinson Pete and her husband, they've been married for a long time. I thought it was going to be a situation where they were kind of being like a relationship coach situation and kind of like really dealing with the women and what their own
girl, it's
issues.
given John Sally at the reunion as a reunion
Yeah,
host.
they didn't do anything. I thought we were gonna get some like, some actual like work on what's happening and why do you keep choosing bad relationships and that kind of energy. Not just like a fake dating show.
Right, they could have found Ayanla for all this.
Yeah.
Shout out to the Breakfast Club. They got a deal with BET and VH1 where they'll be airing on that. Interesting. I would have. I just feel like I don't know. I don't. For me personally, I don't really listen to the Breakfast Club. Like, when they have certain guests, I'll listen to it. But it kind of lost its steam for me personally. So I feel like it's kind of like I wish Angela was back on the show and they were doing it, because then I watched Angela's show the other day and I was just like, what is
How is
this?
it? I haven't seen it.
I
So I don't know.
mean, yeah.
Are they still looking for a third host or is it really just gonna be Charlemagne and Envy?
That's my thing with it. I feel like it just doesn't feel complete to me. Like, it just kind of feels like, yeah, you can get the rotating seat, but it's like, I don't know. But shout out to them for getting it. That's dope. And damn that Angela Yee missed that train. Housewives news. Shout out to these ladies right behind me. Real Housewives of Atlanta season 15 will be coming May 7th at 8 p.m. They released the cast photo, and the girls look cute. Drew looks a little awkward for me, but hey, when is she not sitting on the sidelines? And she's getting her little divorce, and so isn't Eva Marcel. She filed for divorce from her man, and rumor has it, allegedly, some cheating was going on.
That's unfortunate. They got 3 kids. Oh, that's a lot.
I know, and just like Queen's Court, she went through a crazy past with her ex-man. That man was cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. So, and with 3 kids, it's just like, Eva's always never been. I liked Eva later in life because in the streets, I seen her do some stuff, and I was just like, oh, girl, I did not think that of you. But I liked her later when she was on Girls Trip and towards the end of Housewives. But then I caught up on Candy talking about, what's her name? Tamar, and then Tamika talking about with what's her name and the money mix-up and all that. It's just so much tea that now I'm like,
Not a mix-up, child. A robbery. A robbery.
girl. And now I'm like, now I got to court. Now, all right, Courtney. Now I got to go watch the R&B Divas, whatever it is, the Queen thing on
Yes.
Peacock.
Queens of R&B. It's on Bravo. Sunday night.
I'm just telling y'all, here's my prediction. Tamar is going to pop up on either that show, because that show is either going to bring in other queens of R&B, like that. What was that old show that was out?
R&B Divas?
R&B Divas. I feel like they might try to turn that into that kind of a show. Or she's going to end up back on Housewives with Eva, and Eva's going to be on there too. And then it's going to be like Tamar versus Candy and all that jazz. I'm still waiting to see how Phaedra's going to do on Married to Medicine, and see how they're going to bring that girl. Because at this point, Phaedra done been on Real Housewives of Dubai, this, and then and Married to Medicine. Like, it's like they just trying to find places to place these people. Which again, I like Phaedra on girls trips. I'm here for that. And let's just talk about Real Housewives Ultimate Girls Trip. It was Days of Our Wives over there. And my question is, because Candace brought this up, is she talked about how she deserves an Emmy. Sit down. But my question for you guys and Courtney, which housewife out of all the housewives deserves an Emmy? And then also, which franchise would you say deserves an Emmy?
I mean, I would say obviously over the like forever,
Ultimate.
or like
Yep, like
right
we give them one Emmy to one Emmy.
Well, if we're only giving one Emmy, I personally say it still would go to Atlanta, and I would give it to Kenya Moore.
Ooh, why do you say that?
Because she has had longevity. She has played her role every season well. Even when she was trying to check out last season because she didn't, whatever, going through the change and trying not to be in the drama. Like, she came, look, Atlanta was hot, and Kenya came in because, I will forever support Nene as the founder and creator of all things amazing that put Housewives on the map. But I think that Kenya came in and set it all on fire and made it burn hot for season after season. And if we talk about Emmys and making for good TV, I think that and she's also shown, because initially it's like, oh, she needed Nene because of the Nene relationship constantly, and then Portia and all that. But I feel like Kenya has shown she still has staying power with or without Nene.
Fair enough. Let us know who you guys think deserves the Emmy, and which franchise you would give, which Housewives franchise you guys would give the Emmy to. All right. So Leah, the next day, last week, Leah was being bullied by Portia and Giselle, according to Candace. But Leah feels better the next day, because her rebuttal to feeling better was, I know Giselle's done worse. I'm like, girl, what? What kind of commentary was that?
I mean, she was like, I just said I was bored. Everybody's done worse than that, for sure. It's
no, girl, it was your attitude.
That's not the point. You're missing the point.
Fair. Alexia feels Whitney and Heather have the worst drama out of all the girls. Because
I found that funny.
because they're family. And Leah says Leah goes to Heather and says that Whitney, she didn't say all that stuff. She said, she basically told me not to trust you, which got Heather really upset. And as Portia walks in talking about, ooh, now it smells like bologna in here. And then she said, because the girls were going to get massaged, she said, if you lay, they will come. And I'm like, yeah, someone needs to put that on a T-shirt, because Portia was dropping them one-liners today. We also got Lisa from Salt Lake. She called Whitney for the gossip. And, Whitney, right on cue.
Heather just wants me to look like the bad guy, and it was just like, I was just so triggered, and like, she got like everyone to be mad at me, and like, because poor me, and I just like was so loyal, poor me, but like, because I'm friends with Lisa, she's just mad at me, and like, poor me, and I don't want to be Heather's mop anymore.
I hate how well that creates my annoyance that I hear or that I have when I hear her speak. Like the fact that because you don't actually sound like her, but it is equally as irritating because oh my God, it's so irritating. I can't.
It's just that's what I hear, and that's the tone I give you.
Awful.
Portia tells
It's like
Heather,
Whitney comes through you.
Whitney's spirit, the spirit of Rose. Portia tells Heather here's where I was saying last week, where I feel like, it could be Portia being messy, but I just feel like I am seeing a different side of Portia. And I feel like what Portia said to Heather in that moment was she was talking about offering Whitney grace. Like, y'all are family, you argue, then you guys make up. Like, girl, just be over it. Like, you clearly know she said this. Just be like the bigger person. Offer her grace. Don't forget it. But, like, move on from this. Because all the girls are starting to get irritated. Which is also, like, they're all like, oh, I'm so sick of hearing this for 4 days. But y'all are talking about Leah for 4 days. Y'all talking about everything for 4 days. The damn, y'all's talking in Spanish. We know that. They can't help it at this point. Like, this is just who they are, right? Like, yeah. So I don't get the 4-day commentary, but what?
I think it's probably that we don't, obviously, I think it's the editing of it. Like, we got the watered down version of the 4 days of the Whitney and Heather, and I bet it was just way more.
Well, yeah, because imagine hearing Whitney every day.
You guys, like, Heather just like...
So, I feel it. Okay, I get it.
I would have to throw her off of the boat. Like, I couldn't, I wouldn't, I can't. It's awful.
But I think, now here's where I will side with with Whitney a little bit. I mean, it would be annoying because I think we are seeing the lying within Heather, because she changed her story again, because she changed it on Salt Lake City, and then when she got on Girls Trip, she said she put her name on a list, and then now to Portia, she said she never started that process. So it just seemed like in the heat of the argument with Whitney, she wanted to have a check a box off, and just went with it because, yeah, it probably is easy to get the thing started and probably very hard to actually fulfill removing yourself maybe, but I don't know. So, and Portia clocked that real quick. And cue to the editors of Lisa saying that Heather's stories always have holes, which brings us back to the black eye as well.
The black eye. And then it just keeps reminding me how I felt watching this last season of Salt Lake City. I just don't care.
Yeah.
I don't care. Talk about something else.
As much as I'm like, Giselle is really trying to get Heather. I actually think that's the funniest thing, is that Giselle every day keeps trying to get Heather to call Jen Shaw. And I just want Giselle and Jen to actually talk, because I'm like, Giselle is real gun-ho and Jen is about that life. And so, like, I want to see how Jen's take towards Giselle is. That's what got me interested.
Agreed.
Then we got massage time. And I just got to say that I'm going to tell y'all a little story real quick about Thai massage. One time... I called Courtney up first, and Courtney couldn't make it. So then it was supposed to be me, Courtney, and our friend Tiana, who gonna be, now she in town, so she gonna come on the show too. But Courtney couldn't make it. So me and Tiana, I got these Thai massages off Groupon. Never again. And me and Tiana went to Van Nuys, and we got these Thai massages. Now, I should have known by the parking that this was going to be an experience, because we walked into what looked like a restaurant on the outside. And when we walked in, it looked like, now see, I'm aging myself because this was old when I was young, but it looked like MASH headquarters inside. Like there were just trees and there were like tents up, and like water was just in random places. Like, why is water dripping? Is that like a part of the aesthetic, or is that like, do y'all have a leak in here? Like, and I don't remember what it said. I just remember there was like a weird thing taped on the front, and it was like, please do not touch like anyone, do not ask anyone for favors. And I was like, what kind of place are we at? And then I remember giving them the Groupon thing, and they were pissed that it was a Groupon thing. And then they took me and Tiana, I'm just gonna say backstage at this point, because it was just like it wasn't a stage. It was like, you ever been to those haunted houses where they like set them up in random fields, so it's like just tents and you gotta go through the maze tents? It was that. And then I remember getting to my room, and the woman like opened the curtain, and there was another woman sitting in there watching Better Call Saul on a cell phone, and the woman had to ask her to leave. And I was just like, is this sanitary? Like, why was she sitting in here on her break? Like, what was happening? But all right, the woman told me to get naked. I got naked, laid on the bed. And I never understood. I wish I saw this before I did this, because I did notice that there was like, I thought it was a pipe on top of the ceiling. It was not a pipe. It was, but like then the woman had me get naked. I laid down, and when I tell you, this woman jumped on my back, and I was not ready for her to be walking up and down my back like that. So now I didn't make sexual noises. I think I was just concerned, like, when is this going to end? And then is this woman going to offer me a blowjob at the end of it? Because that's a whole nother experience that happened in New York, where I didn't know what a happy ending was until I found out what one. She did not perform it on me. I refused this. I said no because I thought it was an extra charge. And then when I left with my friends, I asked them if they were offered the same, and they were women, so they didn't get offered that. But then when they were like, Jesse, you don't know what that is? So I was afraid that now this was going to be offered to me again at this place after the woman, I'm naked. The woman was jumping on me like a damn, I don't know. It was a trapeze artist. And I mean, it was a tough massage. It was real. Like how Giselle was like, go easy. Because they don't. And I like a good rough massage with hands. I hate feet. Like, I have to, like, if you my man, I'll love your feet. But, like, other than that, anyone else, absolutely not. So that was just, this took me out for that. And I just want to say, Giselle with the cha-cha-cha-cha-cha. I'm like, what in the Jason and Lake, what was that? Lake Placid or wherever Jason, cha-cha-cha-cha-cha.
I don't know, child, but
Cha-cha-cha-cha-cha.
it sounds like she purposely makes sounds to not lose herself in enjoyment.
Okay,
so she's like
fair.
purposely like trying to make it stupid and like whatever, because she doesn't want to because she's so incapable of being vulnerable. Like she's like, I'm gonna make it a joke or like say stupid stuff so that I stay in my right mind or in full presence of mind, so that nobody hears me actually moan or say anything that if it feels good or whatever. So it's just whatever. But the editing was great. They deserve it at me.
Yeah, truly, that editing was fantastic. And then after that, we get Candace wanting to clear some things up with Portia and be honest and tell her about why she does have her guard up. And in true Candace form, she starts crying. But
she folded that big old napkin
girl,
before she even started talking.
First of all,
she was
like, girl, what in the origami is going on here? Because at one point it was a triangle, another point it was like a tube, then it was like a cone, and I'm just like,
I was like, what are you doing?
What is going on?
Oh my god! And also, you're in hot ass, humid ass Thailand. Your makeup is already running. What are you doing?
Now, she talks about how her altercation with Monique is why she's so guarded, which, girl, when we're asking where your wall comes up, it It's not from Real Housewives. Like, this is a part of your personality. But she used the Monique situation and said that because Monique plastered lies about her and throwing a glass in her face, and the blogs ran with it, and she got so much heat for it, and that Portia... Now, see, you know what's really funny about Potomac? I didn't watch that season. That's the one season of Potomac I didn't watch.
Seriously?
Well, I didn't watch because it was right after AfterBuzz, and I was just like over. I went through that 1 year where I was like against watching reality TV. So that was the one season. But I did watch the reunion, so I saw The Notebook and all that stuff. But shout out to Giselle, because I actually now question. I have to go back and look. I'm going to have to watch that season because Giselle did have her back. And from what I remember, Giselle had her back on that season in the Monique situation.
I mean, she did, but it's just because she didn't like Monique.
Right. But I did like seeing the clip of Giselle going hard against Portia. Like, and being, not hard, but like, being adamant, like, girl, that ain't what happened. Like, you can tell when Giselle is doing it for camera, but then you can also see when Giselle does her lean back and she's like, oh, we ain't doing that. Like, that's like, why? That's like, for me, real Giselle. And I like when we get that Giselle, not the lean to the side, because when she leans to the side, that's when reasonably be shady gonna happen. But when she does the lean back, that's the Giselle I like. Portia said, I have a journaling job. I don't need to Google anything. And I'm just like, girl, this is the type of journalist that we have in the world. And this is why do you know what a journalist is?
Clearly don't. Clearly does not. The same way she didn't know what Underground Railroad was.
And, but she did have some good games. They played elephant volleyball.
That was fun.
They did the tiny hands with the feeding of the food, which was hilarious. And then they played a game, Skew It or Chew It, which I actually thought this was I thought this was the best game out of all the games. They either had to tell the truth or they had to eat a scorpion. And Whitney ate the scorpion because she said, I don't want to say the lies. I would rather talk to Heather about them. Which I actually, again, I'll give Whitney this one because I do feel like she has tried to talk to Heather about it, and where Heather was like, you've had all this time to talk to me about it. Girl, every time she tries to talk to you, you don't want to talk to her about it, which I get it. It's annoying. She's annoying. And, like, once you over somebody, you over it.
Did they talk about it, though, like, on the first episode when they were, like, sitting on the couch together with nobody else there, and then they agreed that, like, they were going to move forward and, like, be normal?
Yeah, which that pissed the girls off later because you do see they're cousins. It's like a sister thing. It's like you're mad at her 1 second and then they're over it, which is probably also more annoying to all the girls that they have to like sit through this. It's like, girl, y'all are crying over this and you're going to be over there in the van together licking each other's punani. Heather lied again. Right after that, Heather lied again and ate a scorpion, which Portia called her out again. That's already 2. So Portia could have told 2 of the lies. She could have talked about the Mormon thing and then the black eye thing.
I mean, Heather is one of those people. Like, she can't tell the truth to save her life, and she lies about dumb shit that you're like, girl, what?
That's the thing. It's like, at least if it's like big lies, like...
No, she's just one of those people.
Or at least with the black eye, be like, look, guys, if you think you know, then just think you know that. And carry on, like, girl, because we know. And then, now this one I thought was interesting. Leah not wanting to talk about the Legacy cast. But, okay, my first initial was what your reaction, like, why, girl, right? But then I'm like, I wonder if legally she can't talk about it because... Remember, there was rumor that they had gotten some of the girls and then the scraping of it. I wonder if she was just like, I don't even know if I can talk about it, kind of a thing.
I mean, well, she said she just doesn't want to be negative.
Right, girl. But that's why I'm like, those must have been fake scorpions that y'all was so quick to pick them up.
But I mean, also, like, what's negative about saying who you don't think that, like, okay, I can only pick one. I don't think I would see so and so. Like, that's not negative. That just is. Like, whatever. Go ahead, girl. Eat your scorpion.
Again, Leah's just not the right person for the
It
show.
was just a buzzkill. Like, it was like, okay, girl. All right.
Then we got the Mardi Gras thing, and I think Giselle needs to leave Potomac, and she needs to start Summer House New Orleans.
Well, you know they're supposed to do Real Housewives of New Orleans. They're casting for it right now.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yes,
Cool.
they announced that. Most of us who were actually Southern Charm fans, because Southern Charm New Orleans, I actually liked and was sad that it didn't make it. There's possibly 2 people from that show that are gonna possibly be housewives. But
What's the name of the show? What's the name of the show that she's talking to that guy from?
She's talking to the guy from Summer House.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Let's start a little Summer House and get Giselle
No,
dating a
no,
Queen's
we don't. Summer House is a little young. Summer House is not Giselle territory, which is why, no.
Fair enough.
Housewives, maybe.
That's true.
Southern
That Potomac season where she was dating those guys, she was going on those dates, that actually was not entertaining at all for me.
No.
Then we got, what else? So then she told us a little history about the king cake, which is interesting because, like, I'm Greek Orthodox, and like at New Year's we do this thing where you cut the bread, and if you get a quarter in it, it means the same exact thing as king cake. So that's interesting. And then she talked about, and then she taught the girls the how to do the second line, which was cute. And then they played Reasonably Shady, and she said, "Is it shady to take credit of other franchises' success when your show was canceled?" All the girls said it was shady. You guys may disagree with me. I low-key am still with Alexia. Like, I think that they're trying to, like, I don't know. I agree. Like, the fact that Miami was taken off, canceled, off for 8 years, and then came back with the same cast, and low-key is more I don't know. I'm kind of into it.
They didn't come back with the same cast.
Well, with a lot of the girls.
Difference. But, like, I don't actually remember what she actually said. She said they paved the way or something.
What's her name said paved the way. Marisol added her 2 cents in, and they all just kind of put that on Alexia's comments.
But what are they saying? Pave the way for what?
Well, no, I don't think paving the way. I think, like, saying, like, it was like a out of the Housewives franchise. Like, Alexia was, Alexia Cuckoo, Eggshell. She was basically saying, like, ain't no other franchise was able, because guess what? We ain't gonna get the Dallas cast back. I hope not.
I think we will.
The same exact girls, though? Or, like, a group
I'll
of the
be
same
like,
girls?
I'll grab a couple of the old ones and probably redo with a few more new ones. I actually don't think Dallas was that bad. I think they needed to change up the cast, but whatever.
Well, I do like the idea of Dallas being a housewife show, but that cast was not it for me personally. I couldn't get into it at all. Then they did the bully thing, the book title thing, snooze fest. And then the girls got in the van ride. Portia was confused with Heather and Whitney arguing. I thought actually this was all boring except for the anal talk, which we find out that Whitney, Candace, and Leah all have had anal sex. Interesting. And then at the end, Whitney does her drunk confessional where she says Heather's 3 lies are she hasn't left the church, never friends with Lisa, and she knows who gave her the black eye. And I don't know, I feel like they're pushing something with Heather here. I mean, with Lisa, because now this is like the fact that Lisa was on a phone call with her, and then that was how they ended the thing. I don't need to see Lisa on a girls' trip, so if that's where we're trying.
Well, I'm wondering, because or maybe that was for the next girls' trip, but I feel like, wasn't there a rumor that somebody pops up like Jill did back in the day on one of the trips?
Oh, Jill popped up on the in New York season. She popped up.
Well, yeah, but like she did it as a joke to like be like, remember when I did this? And that's why she came later. But I feel like they actually, I don't remember.
That would be a gag if Lisa Barlow pops up in Thailand. That would be a real gag to Heather. Like, that would just be like, oh, And it would just be the most random person because I don't see Lisa getting along really with any of the girls on the cast. I could see Lisa and Alexia being friends for some odd reason.
Yeah, I would be interested to see how Lisa interacts with the women. But I feel like that information would have gotten out by now because it took so long for this season to come.
%.
Yeah.
But so that was that for Girls Trip. Let us know if you guys are loving this season. Again, definitely.
Dustin in the chat saying it's stale already.
Oh, all right. I didn't see these. All right. Let's see. Lawrence talking about love you guys. Been a fan of both since the AfterBuzz days. Shout out to Lawrence. And here comes Dustin with these ones. Dustin be coming in with shots fired every week. Do y'all think Real Housewives Ultimate Girls Trip formula has gotten stale? Season 2 is so good. This cast just isn't clicking for me. I think the fact that they aren't clicking is what has made it more interesting. I was scared to watch this season. I thought I wouldn't be into it, but low key, if I was feeling better, I would have my wine tonight. You know what I'm saying? Like, because last week watching it, I was ready. Scary Island and PR.
That's the thing. Oh,
that's what it was.
Scary Island and PR.
That was the New York.
But that's the old New York. I'm just saying, like, yeah, I thought that there was a rumor that somebody pulled that again for one of the girls' trips. But what I was gonna say though is that Girls Trip, this episode I thought was boring for the most part.
Totally agree.
And I don't like that because I think the reason I was into it is because they gave me 3 episodes to begin with. And I feel like they need to release more than 1 episode at a time.
Agreed. And do you wish it was like, I don't wish it was like Queen's Court where they release all the episodes, but I definitely think like they should be doing at least 2 episodes a week because we also...
At least 2.
We also got rid of, what franchise did we just end? Miami. So it's like, you guys could do that. Plus, you already have another girls trip that can be lined up, and we're getting Real Housewives of Atlanta back. Like, just give us 2 episodes a week, because this was a snooze fest of an episode. What I didn't think was a snooze fest, though, which usually is Real Housewives of New Jersey. So let's just talk about it. So we start off now. Everyone is where are they at? The Jersey Shore, and they're on the Jersey Shore. And they're all separated in their teams, houses, and we get basically this trip. To me, feels like it's just forming an alliance with Danielle, Aiden, and Teresa, or is this trip Jackie's attempt to try and get back in the light? Because personally, for me, I actually like Jackie better as a friend. I'm like, good girl, you got scared, so you putting in the work, because you was given Dorit for a few seasons. Snooze fest.
I don't know. I feel like Jackie came pretty strong when she needed to, especially when they were coming after her husband, talking about he was cheating, and then Teresa basically being the hypocrite. Yeah. But then the last season, obviously, was her eating disorder situation, and it's like a whole thing. So, and I felt like that was super revealing, and she was really open about it. So but I also like don't like that Housewives has just become about people attacking each other all the time. So I did like that Jackie just was going through it and dealing with something other than just conflict with the women.
All right, fair enough. Melissa so we're going to get into like the back and forth. Melissa told Danielle that Jackie said she doesn't believe Danielle's story, and this just lights a fire under Danielle. Now, I got to say, Danielle is entertaining to me, but like, I'm just like, girl, it's just a lot. And Rachel, I mean, she is exhausting. Personally, I don't get it.
Who's
Rachel's isn't that?
Is Rachel the nose?
Yeah, the nose, the Whoville.
Good job, yes.
So Rachel was with Martha Stewart, Jen Stewart, I call her Martha Stewart dupe, and Dolores, and they're starting to talk about Danielle. So basically, it's this big catapult of I feel like it's Rachel being a Heather gay, where it's like, I'll just say whatever because I just want to be like in. And obviously, and the blogs are saying that Rachel is Melissa's friend. Melissa vouched for her to come on the show. So maybe this was all planned and plotted. Now we get into the Gorga stuff. Melissa, girl, I don't want to hear you do the right thing. You do the right thing. Girl, the right thing would to be realize that you don't want to be a part of Teresa's wedding and that you're really not upset about it. And you could calm your husband down by saying, babe, please, I don't argue with her because I don't want to be in her wedding. Like, the reality is I don't get along with your sister. I love her because she's your sister, but I really don't care if I'm in the wedding. And actually, it would be more beneficial that my mom doesn't go to the wedding. Because why? Why are we arguing? I don't know. Like, if someone didn't invite me to something I really didn't want to go to,
I think that that's the problem, is that she actually does want to go. She does want to be included. She does want to feel like even though she wants to pretend on some occasions that she's unbothered because she is exhausted and they're always fighting and it's all this, but in the end, she wants to be accepted by Teresa. Period.
Okay. Oh, wait, what is this? Dustin talking about, I hate how they focus on language. Like, they talk about the wording of how someone explains themselves, and it becomes a big topic. The short filming, I feel, forces dumb drama. Agreed.
Oh, for Girls Trip, 100%.
And then he said, did y'all see that Danielle was on True Life? I'm from Staten Island. She's been wanting this lifestyle. Oh.
TV? True Life?
Yeah, and I do remember. Wait, was she the girl?
Like back in the day? I'm gonna have to Google that. We gotta find that.
I remember that I do remember that episode. And I just remember, I'm pretty sure I remember her in a car driving around. I don't know why I remember that scene, but that is wild. All right, shout out to Dustin for that
but
one.
Just for the record, because we went back to Danielle, like Danielle bigging it up, like she gonna say something but keep leaving. Yep. I'm tired. No, like, girl, either have to fight or shut the fuck up, because she keeps, you're gonna say this to me about my I'm leaving. Girl, that's not how this works.
And this is giving, your storyline is giving that. Now it makes sense. If you were on that MTV show, the fact that you were on that MTV show, it makes sense. You trying to create a drama. You know that, hey, the Gorgas have been doing this for how many seasons? Maybe I can get that many out of this.
Because your story does not math. Like, the math ain't mathing. Like, you blocked your brother because he was making fun of you and now he's never speaking to you again. That's crazy.
Oh, she was the actress trying to lose her accent. Oh. The true story for me that was the tea was this whole Joe and Louis thing, and how Louis lost $250K in Joe's pizza business, where Louis says, I didn't confront Joe because I don't do well with people deflecting conversations. Sir, you married the queen of it. Like,
yes, you literally had to sit there and attempt to redirect. But I don't know, something ain't sitting right with me about Louis and Teresa. Like, I feel like they will explode on each other in bad ways.
No, agreed, because I don't believe Louis is a bad person. I think I don't care about his past. I believe that everyone, can change whatever the case is. But he seems like someone who does try to better himself, whether we take that as authentic or not. I don't know. I personally don't think he's a bad person. And I think Teresa is into that because he is someone who, although plays the macho man, which we see, I mean him talking, but the way he snaps is, I don't want to say feminine, but like, it's just weird. I don't know. He's a very strange character to me. And
he gives me very much like, I'm cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs and I've been working on it, but I'm not all the way there yet.
Yes.
And then add a Teresa to that mix at some point. And like right now, he feels like he's helping her and he's going to help make her better. And I feel like they're going to be explosive to each other at some point.
Right. And then what's it called? Joe says that Louis stole his idea. And all of a sudden, he sees one day Teresa with a bunch of pizza boxes with Skinny Girl Pizza, which is also interesting because that was Bethany's Skinny Girl thing. So I'm like,
Yeah, I thought that was weird.
I never saw those pictures, but maybe. And then Melissa cries because she feels like Joe doesn't have anyone. Girl, but my question is this. Now, this is the set. Now, look, I know Teresa's crazy, but why? Now, this is the second man that Teresa has been with that has helped Joe out. Because old Joe was there for your parents when little Joe fucked up. And now Louis, Joe, if you had the money, why would you want Louis involved to begin with? You guys
Well,
already
no, I
or no?
think that's the point. He was the idea. Louis had the money,
No,
and
but
the
in
argument.
this episode, Joe says, I mean, I could have put the money up. Well, then why didn't you?
Because he claimed he wanted to go in on with his sister.
And that's my thing is like they keep talking about it's a family. It's like I have family members. Again, back to the eggshell. If you know how someone is, you don't keep poking at them. You just know what I mean? You show up, you have your pizza party. Hey, I'm going to go back to minding my business. And you show up on every other Sunday and you guys, you have your lamb or you have whatever the fuck it is you fucking eat and you leave with your kids. You let the kids play. You have coffee. You have your coffee talk while the kids are downstairs playing, and then you leave and you talk about everybody in the car on the ride home. Like, this is that's family. Sorry. That's what happens in big families, especially in Italy, Greece, all that kind of stuff. Like, this whole, like, do the right thing. Girl, bye. Bye, Melissa. I just can't. Like, I just can't. And I want to have empathy for her, but it's just like, at this point, you're feeding the monkey. Like, it's like, so if the monkey throws shit at you, girl, like, what are you mad at? I don't know. I really can't find it in my spirit to feel bad for Melissa.
I don't even think so, Melissa. I just really want Joe and Teresa to go separately get communication therapy because they can't communicate with each other. Like, they can't communicate well with anybody for the most part when they're in conflict. Because even Teresa dealing with Louis, I'm like, oh, how is this going to work? Like, they need to go talk to somebody to learn how to talk to people.
Right. And then, what's it called? So we get to Rachel's party, and that's where all this blows up. First, it starts with Margaret confronting Danielle about what Rachel said, and that just was like an exhaust pipe. It was basically Danielle's way. Look, was it shady for Rachel to go do that? I mean, because the way they was seeming like budding besties, sure. But, hey, I mean, who would have known that Danielle had that kind of a temper on her? And again, keeps running away. Girl, you said arsenal. And yeah, just say, hey, yeah, I used the word arsenal because that's what Aiden and Teresa used. So I used that. Now, did Rachel take that? Yeah, Rachel was laughing the same way you were involved in the conversation. You have a bigger mouth than Rachel does at that point because you were like entertaining the conversation. Rachel was laughing at the conversation, but she wasn't entertaining it in the same way you were. So rule number 1 of Mean Girls, know who you trust and trust who you know. And everyone else, you just smile and talk about them in the car on your ride home. Because, girl, you got caught up. And now, again, Jackie came in for the gold. She's like, I'm going to get that. I don't know. What do they hold in this one? Apples? No.
I don't know. What do they hold? Trees?
Not trees.
No, I was... I didn't mean that.
I'm trying to think, like, what is New Jersey known for? Like, coffee? That would actually be fucking hilarious if one season was somebody like New York and they're holding fucking coffee mugs. That's fucking epic.
Garden state. So, right? I don't know what they hold.
Not you gonna make me look this up. What do the girls hold in New Jersey? Hey, Siri. What do the girls hold in Real Housewives in New Jersey? Let's just see.
Okay, I found
Tell us, Siri.
Oh, do they hold anything? First of
Nothing?
all, did you
Glasses?
know that the state fruit of New Jersey is a blueberry? Why that just popped up, I don't know. But
Who the fuck know that? Like, why would I know that? I didn't even know we had state fruits. Like, what?
wait, you never had to do that in school? Like you would have to talk about like a state's like flower, the bird, like Massachusetts is the
How's
chickadee.
the fruit? I mean, a flower, yes, flower, birds, but not a fruit.
I mean, the only fruits I know is
I
like
mean, obviously, I'm
Florida orange, Georgia peach.
but like,
I don't know.
that's what I'm saying. Like, but that's just because that's the agriculture that's huge there, not because it's like the state's
Hey, shout
blueberry.
out to
Like,
Ronnie in the
what?
chat. Ronnie says, I agree. Danielle is looking defeated. We want to like her, but running offset is one of those things where if you run offset too many times, you might not be asked back. I think she
Amen, honey,
I
because
think
this
she
is at
thinks
least
she's I think she thinks that she's giving it. I think she thinks she is in her moment. I think that she thinks that this is, honey, real days of our wives. She's feeling
well,
it.
I mean, maybe she thinks that she's like, I'm giving what I can give without laying hands, and I know I don't want to lay hands. So I get that, but you need to learn how to argue and not lay hands because this is too much.
And then getting back to the Teresa arguing with Louis thing. So Louis gets upset because he was talking to Melissa. And I did think it was kind of weird how he shooed her away, but then asked Joe to come sit down. It very much is giving like they're saying like I want to be liked. But then I'm like, well, what if he does have a genuine what if he knows his wife is crazy or his fiance is crazy and he really wants to have this conversation with them?
Yes. Oh, sorry. I'm distracted because Dustin just went in the chat. Instead, online, they said they hold their hips, and that's all.
And actually, that does make sense. I really do think all they do is
Just stand with their hand. Because I remember like the old one with Caroline in the middle. You're right. They were just holding their hips. They weren't holding anything in their hands.
look,
Like,
and that just goes to tell the foreshadowing of the show of Jersey of why they've been around for so long. We're gonna see these people till Teresa is in a nursing home, and Gia gonna be coming in like, oh, Teresa, bringing the kids.
a mess. A mess.
Potomac is champagne glasses and Dallas is stars.
That makes
Interesting.
sense.
All right, shout out to Dustin for that. Thanks for the research.
Oh, we didn't. Are we talking about the pajamas yet?
Oh, we're gonna talk about it right now. So, Louis brings up how he's such a good guy and he's been there for your nieces. I even wear your dad's pajamas. And like, I wonder if as he said that, it sounded like how sometimes you just say something.
No, honey. He's not just saying it because he wears them. The problem was in the wearing to begin with, not just that you said it.
Now,
What is happening?
now in
What?
after show, they asked all the girls. Everyone thought it was crazy that he said that,
Yes.
except one person, and you can already tell who it was, Aiden. But Teresa came out to say, I bought them for my father. My father never actually wore them, so that's why Louis wears them. Like they just was never worn. It's like, okay, if that's the case,
The case
why would you say that you wear?
to make them feel safe. What? No, it doesn't make me feel safe. It makes me feel like you might be a murderer or something. That sounds crazy as hell.
I wear your mother's skin at night. I wear your sister's skin.
It's a shit like the dude that dug up his mom's grave and like put her mummified body in the living room for like 3 years or something insane. Like that sounds like what Louis is doing.
I really wanted to be close to your parents, so I dug them up. They sit in the living room, and we bring the kids around, and we have a kumbaya every week, Joe. It's given crazy.
Yeah.
It's given wild and
Definitely.
crazy kids.
Definitely.
Teresa says, you're telling... Now, I will agree with this with Teresa. I'll agree with crazy. Again, you know your sister. Melissa, at this point, I think my thing with Melissa is I look at Melissa as probably the sane one out of, before Louis, the sane one out of the cuckoo's nest. You know Teresa's crazy. You know Joe's crazy. Now, Teresa says, you're telling strangers instead of calling me and asking me. Teresa, you're also delusional because even if they did call you and ask you, you would probably create a fight and give a reason as to why Melissa's not in the wedding. Although I will say after the fact, Teresa did go and try to mend it with Melissa and like give her a secondhand invite into the wedding, which is, again, crazy. Now, again, I'll play with Teresa's crazy because Teresa is still holding on to the thing with Margaret. And she's never actually really mad at Margaret. She says, she's better as a friend than an enemy. But she is mad at her brother and Melissa for not sticking up for her. Now, Melissa backfires and said, well, you allowed Aiden to call Joe a bitch. Again, negated. Can't even bring that up because it's after the fact that crazy Teresa believes you didn't have her back. So now she doesn't care. Now she's, oh, yeah? Well, you like Margaret? Well, fuck that. If Aiden wants to call you a bitch, then you're a bitch. You know, we're playing in Space Jam here. Like, Melissa, I just expect better. Now, I know Ronnie's going to, because we know Ronnie's obsessed with Melissa. Let's go, Melissa Gorga, a.k.a. Melissa Gorgeous. Melissa's confessional look was everything. I don't remember what her confessional look was. Honestly, I'm stuck on Portia's confessional look and how hideous Leah's confessional look is.
Oh, Leah with the black and white cutout thing, whatever that was.
Given like she went to the Dream Within a Dream Britney Spears tour back in 2000 and still reliving that dream.
I don't actually remember. I was more excited about Dolores's confessional look.
Yeah.
This episode with the darker hair. She was looking a good 26. Like, she looked fabulous. I don't remember anything that excited me about Melissa's, but maybe there was one.
Joe storms out, and Rachel and Margaret go to sit with Teresa. And then Joe comes back. Well, Louis leaves, but he says that her and Joe have the same problem. Agreed. Agreed. This is where I was actually happy that Louis and Melissa were sitting down because, again, you guys were the only two hope. And at this point,
I'll have to figure this out because clearly Teresa and her brother cannot.
Absolutely not. And then Joe asks Louis to move the car, but then he sees Teresa sitting with Margaret, which, again, you know, Joe is just unraveling at this point. Not Toe. I mean, at this point, he looked like a son.
But I feel him though. It's like, bitch, you gonna be this mad and you friends with this hoe? Shut the fuck up. Like, this is nonsense.
But you're my brother. And so then Joe looks like he gonna fight Louis, and Louis gets in his face, which I was like, okay, because I don't know why I had this image of like Louis being kind of a bitch, but he didn't flinch when Joe walked up to him like that, and I would have thought Joe would have snapped personally. So, which again, agreeing with you in the sense of I feel like there could be a snap within Louis that we might get on this actual show.
Well, see, I don't think it's that kind of snap though, and I think he showed it when all the men were at dinner that time together, and Joe lost his shit, and Louis's eyes looked crazy, but he was like, what? He was able to diffuse it. So I don't think it's that kind of snap, but I do think with Teresa and this idea that like she's the same way he's trying to be a better person, I feel like they have connected on this, I'm being a better person and I'm going to be a better person and I'm going to do better. And I think what will make him actually snap is dealing with Teresa not being or attempting to be the better person that she's claiming to be.
Agreed,
their
because
relationship.
it'll make him kind of backtrack to whoever he was before the camp
Yes.
pictures.
It'll be triggering before the camp. Exactly.
Now, if you guys are joining us late and you didn't get to see the Real Housewives Ultimate Girls Trip conversation, rewind, go back, and then leave us a comment down below of who you think out of all the housewives deserves an Emmy, and which franchise you believe deserves an Emmy. Courtney gave a very interesting comment that, Ronnie, you might be very interested in hearing. Courtney, where can everyone follow you?
You can follow me everywhere at Stuart Starlet.
Boom, you guys can hit me up at DJ Jesse J across all social media platforms, and hit us up at Next Mood Swing everywhere. Until next week, same time, same place. Peace.